Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to go way beyond just a simple port scan. We're diving deep into service enumeration and something called banner grabbing to really uncover the secrets that systems are hiding right in plain sight.
So, let's set the scene. You've run a scan, and boom, you find an open port. It's kind of like you're a digital detective in a giant building, and you've just found a door that's unlocked. But the real question is, what's actually waiting for you on the other side?
And that really gets to the heart of what we're talking about today. It's all about going beyond that open port. Because finding that unlocked door, that's just step one. It's definitely not enough. Here's probably the easiest way to think about this. Scanning, that's just the act of finding all the open doors. Enumeration, on the other hand, well, that's when you carefully peek inside the room to see what's actually in there.
This right here, this is the path to discovery. And it's exactly why this process is so absolutely critical. An attacker follows this exact chain step by step. They find an open port, then they identify the service running on it. Then they pinpoint the exact version of that service, and then they hit the jackpot. They go searching for known vulnerabilities tied to that very specific version.
Okay, so let's get our hands dirty. Let's dive into the investigator's toolkit, and we're going to start with probably the most powerful and versatile automated tool out there, Nmap.
So your standard go-to command for this is going to be nmap -sv against your target. That little -sv switch is what tells Nmap, hey, don't just tell me the port is open. I need you to go knock on that door and find out exactly what service is running and, most importantly, what version it is.
But you know, what if you want to turn things up to 11? What if you want to know everything? Well, that's when you use the A switch for an aggressive scan. And trust me, this is a whole other level.
Yeah, so the aggressive scan is basically the whole shebang. You get your service version detection, of course, but it also tries to figure out the operating system. It runs a whole bunch of default scripts to dig for even more info, and it even does a trace route. But, and this is a huge but, this scan is loud. It is incredibly noisy. If the last scan was quietly turning the doorknob, this one is like kicking the door clean off its hinges. It's super easy for any security system to spot.
And this is the kind of gold you get back. Look at this Nmap output. It's not just data, it's actionable intelligence. You don't just see port 80 is open. Nope, you see it's running Apache version 2.4.41. You don't just see port 22 is open, you know it's OpenSSH version 8.2. That specific detail, that is everything.
Okay, automation is fantastic, but sometimes you need to get a little more hands-on. So let's talk about manual investigation and how we can actually talk directly to services and just ask them who they are.
This technique is called banner grabbing. And honestly, it's a beautifully simple idea. You're just manually connecting to an open port and listening. That's it. Most services, when you connect, send back a banner, a little welcome text, and you'd be amazed how often that banner just tells you exactly what you're looking for. For example, we can use a classic tool like Netcat. We just connect directly to a web server on port 80. Once we're in, we can send a really basic HTTP request. We're essentially just asking the server, hey, tell me about yourself.
And look at that. This is what it might send back. The server just happily tells you its identity. Server, Apache /2.4.41 Ubuntu. We didn't need some fancy scanner for that. We literally just asked it.
And Netcat's not your only option. You can use another old school tool, Telnet, to do the same thing. Let's say we want to check out an FTP server, which is usually on port 21. We can just use Telnet to open a direct line right to it.
And bam, will you look at that, the second we connect, we haven't even typed a single thing. The FTP server just announces itself. 220 VSFTP 3.03. It just gave us its name and its exact version number. That's a huge clue right there.
So this is where all our detective work really starts to pay off. We have the version number. Now it's time to connect the dots and turn that little piece of information into a potential security risk.
So here's the crucial workflow. An attacker identifies that version, right? Like VSFTPD 3.0.3. Then they go and research it. They search public vulnerability databases, like the CVE program, for that exact version. And what do they find? Very often, they discover a known public exploit that someone's already written. That version number is the key.
All right, that's enough theory. It is your turn now. Let's get you to apply this and actually think like an attacker.
Okay, here's the scenario. Your Nmap scan comes back with the services you see here. Take a look. Which one are you going to investigate first? And more importantly, why that one? So you've got OpenSSH 7.2, Apache 2.418, and VSFTPD 3.0.3. Now, a good analyst is going to research all three, for sure. But in experienced attackers' eyes, they're going to go straight to VSFTPD 3.0.3. Why? Because that specific version is infamous. It's known to have a critical backdoor vulnerability. It's a massive, blinking red flag.
Okay, so we've spent some time thinking like an attacker. Now let's pivot. Let's put on our defender hats. How do we protect our systems from this very kind of reconnaissance?
Well, the Defender's Playbook is all about reducing the amount of information you're giving away for free. First, and I really can't say this enough, keep all your software updated. Patch your systems. Next, if you can, disable or customize those chatty service banners. Don't let them scream out their version numbers. You can also use things like reverse proxies to help hide details about your backend servers. And of course, you have to be actively monitoring your logs for those really noisy scans we talked about.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you know exactly how attackers look for these little clues and connect all the dots, how is that going to change the way you see your own systems? What clues are you leaving behind?